welcome to the Tuesday Review. I'm Nathan.
I'm James.
And we're also joined interstate tonight by Alum. How you going, Alum?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's all right. All the way from Canberra, the capital.
The country capital, the bush capital.
The giant roundabout.
Yes, the giant roundabout.
Yeah.
I'm still driving.
You're still dizzy. You're a bit dizzy. So tonight we're reviewing Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. So usually, even back in the Man vs. Movies days, we never talked about Fast and Furious much because Callum and Nathan had never really been a fan of the franchise.
Now I've seen them all.
But now Nathan has made the effort to see them all. And even though he and Callum would stick their noses up at the general idea of it, Nathan, I think you'd agree it's a bit of fun.
It's a very fun franchise.
Yeah.
It has its issues, but overall...
It's silly, but it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Alum is a big fan of the franchise as well because he's a big car enthusiast.
I certainly am, and I am, at peace with myself, and I'm able to admit that they're, relatively bad movies, a lot of them, some of them, certainly. But, it's a fun time, that's for sure.
Yeah, because there's 8 main movies, and now this is the first spin-off. And there's a couple ones that are just straight up bad, but then there are ones that are like really dumb, but are just like fun action movies. And I think a lot of the times people respond to them because of the humor and the characters.
Look, I think they are a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Like, I feel like the way I like to explain it is there's a difference between like bad dumb and good dumb. There are some movies that are just dumb and that should never have been made. And then there are movies like dumb, but they're fun. Like Skyscraper is a dumb movie that's bad.
That's true. That is just a bad movie.
Fast and Furious 8 is dumb, but it's really good and it's really fun.
Yeah, if you drive... That's the one set partially in Dubai, right? No,
that's 7. I don't like 7. So, see, 7's bad.
7's bad?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. When you're driving a car from one skyscraper to another,
so bad.
That's cool.
But it was so poor. See, this is another thing. It's so poorly executed. That's the other thing. If you can do something dumb like that, do it like Mission Impossible. Do it practically. That would have been amazing. But the fact that they do it twice in a row. Like he jumps from one tower then to another tower, but it's like CGI crap. If they did it practically, it would have been amazing. So that's the other thing. If you're gonna make a dumb action movie with silly scenes and premise, like the action has to be really, really good. And I guess
Did you say poorly executed? Because do we have some things to say?
So that's a perfect segue to Hobbs and Shaw, which is a dumb movie that could have been really fun. Like it's
fun.
Look, it's not that bad.
No, it's fun. I think there are parts of it that lag a little bit, I feel.
Yeah, it's too long. They could have cut like 15, 20 minutes out.
And I have some nitpicky problems.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like Hobbs and Shaw is a movie that I think takes, whether deliberately or not, takes a lot of elements from Mission Impossible Fallout. Like there are just a lot of similar scenes, like motorbike chase.
Even the actress.
Is it the same? Yeah. What's her name? Vanessa Kirby? Was she in?
Yeah.
Okay, she was. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like her, and there's like the helicopter crash, and there's the motorbike scene and stuff like that. But whereas Mission Impossible did it so well and did it practically, you now get to Hobbs and Shaw where it's all like CGI crap and stuff flying around.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of things you can say about Mission Impossible, but they've been doing practical effects lately. So
what I'm saying is like Hobbs and Shaw could have been almost exactly the same as it is now with the dumb premise and the dumb jokes and so on. But if they really stuck the landing on the action, you'd be getting a lot more positive response from us than you're.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So you can have a dumb movie as long as it's well executed and the action is well done and it's well presented. But in most cases, dumb movies are just dumb because they're not well made either. Hobbs and Shaw is not terrible. It's a lot of fun. I think the best part about it is the chemistry between The Rock and Jason Statham.
And the English banter.
The banter and the jokes, the name calling, and that's all really good. And I think that's a strength of the movie. And like again, that's why people like the Fast and Furious movies, because you got all these characters. You got the family, you got all these characters, and you got all this banter, and that's why this spin-off like has happened. I mean, it's happened because of The Rock, but it's happened because you got these two characters who worked really well together in the last movie.
They're both big egos.
Yeah, but and now you're utilizing that, you know, in its own film.
You can only have so much bald, muscular man in a single movie. Yeah. And I think towards the end of the Fast and Furious, they really just overwent it, and they had to split.
Yeah, that's a split. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, because apparently there was a rivalry between Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Well, allegedly they really just don't like each other.
Yeah, and Vin Diesel's kind of mad that Hobbs and Shaw happened, and that kind of delayed Fast and Furious 9.
Well, because it is Vin Diesel's franchise.
Yeah.
Like, this movie definitely reeks of a power play by Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
It feels to me that Dwayne Johnson's like, well, you know what? This can be my franchise too.
Yeah.
I'm a part of this. I get a spin-off because I'm The Rock.
Definitely. And it definitely feels like they could do like a Hobbs and Shaw series of movies in addition to the mainline Fast and Furious movies.
It does, but it also feels disrespectful. Like it's been
not. Maybe
disrespectful is the wrong word, but it feels like the movie exists to spite Vin Diesel almost.
A little bit. I mean,
I feel certain scenes to imply that, hey, we can do this better than you, even though the reality is far from it. But still, I think certain scenes do seem to apply that, and we'll probably talk about that during the spoiler section.
Yeah, you know, like let's get through the non-spoiler section, because like that's an interesting point that we want to discuss, and how The Rock kind of just overtakes entire franchises, you know. So Hobbs and Shaw is obviously Fast and Furious spin-off, and this one's directed by David Leitch, who did co-directed the first John Wick. And he did Deadpool 2 and Atomic Blonde. So in terms of action,
he's pretty good
filmmaker, like pretty damn good. The movie basically, you know, Hobbs played by The Rock and Shaw played by Jason Statham. They're like, can you call them secret agents? What are they? They're like,
well, Shaw's a criminal.
He was, but now he's
it's complicated.
It's it's like unnecessarily convoluted. Yeah. He was a good guy, then he turned to a bad guy. Now he's a good guy. But anyway, basically they're like contractors for the CIA. If the CIA has a problem, they get called.
Effectively, yeah.
And there's this evil terrorist organization headed by Idris Elba's character Brixton, who want to steal a
virus.
Techno-virus. Like a programmable virus to...
Basically, like a modern-day plague.
Yeah, to basically, you know,
it will wipe out most of humanity, effectively.
Destroy part of the humanity. And Shaw's sister injects herself with the virus so that the bad guys don't get it. And so it's up to Hobbs and Shaw to...
The movie's a race to extract the virus, basically.
Yeah, basically like a globe-hopping action movie.
Who can get the virus first?
Yeah, and Idris Elba's obviously like chasing them, trying to get it out of her and stuff as well. I think... Like, the movie is pretty much what I expected. If you've seen the trailer, like, there's no surprises. There's a couple of surprises, but, you know.
It's a modern take on, like, a buddy cop action sort of...
Yeah, but it's like, if you've seen the trailer, you know what you're getting. It's that kind of over-the-top CGI action, those kind of jokes. Like, it's what I expected. Like, it didn't exceed expectations at all.
But it didn't let you down too much.
Yeah, like it was. It's kind of like that's what I expected. I think the good thing is you don't need to have seen the Fast and Furious movies.
That is a good thing.
And I think the movie's doing really well. One, because of The Rock, but two, because people who don't know about the Fast and Furious movies can just go see a Rock and Jason Statham action movie. You know, so
I think that was the benefit of marketing it as Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
primarily over the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, I mean. There might be some people who are a bit hesitant, but I mean, you don't have to have seen any. No. It's like, it's not...
There's nods and like...
Yeah, definitely it helps.
Inferences.
Yeah, it helps if you've seen the other, but otherwise, yeah.
You don't need to.
Yeah. So like I said, the chemistry, the banter, the humor, that's the strong part. The action, some of the action's really good.
There was some shaky cam I didn't like.
There's some bad shaky cam, there's some really bad CGI, but like, overall...
Lots of baby oil.
Yeah, of course. But like overall, it's not, you know, it's not bad.
What do you think, Alan, of the action in general?
Look, some of the scenes, like there was way too much jerkiness and cutting that you don't get into the fight enough, and that's, I think, supposed to be one of the movie's strong points is the action. And if you're just getting jump cut around and jerked and you can't even make sense of what the hell's going on, then it kind of falls flat in that respect.
Yeah, I think because if David Leitch with Chad Stahelski directed the first John Wick, and one of the reasons people love John Wick so much, and one of the reasons I talk it up so much,
is because the action is done.
Yeah, the action is done so well, and it's that clear, no shaky cam, no quick cuts, and there's a special appeal for the choreographed fight scene. Yeah, it's delicious in a way. Exactly, and Chad Stahelski kept going with that in the John Wick sequels, and David Leitch, I think, took that with Atomic Blonde and even in Deadpool 2 a little bit. But now that he's in, with Deadpool 2 and Hobbs and Shaw, you're in more of a modern day CGI superhero movie territory. So, and I feel like whether it was whether it was too many cooks in the kitchen or whatever, but it feels like a symptom of the problem of the big Hollywood studio action movie sci-fi franchise, superhero franchise.
Definitely.
Because otherwise, why would he do that when he set up clearly before that he knows how to do it without shaky cam?
I think there very much is an element of too many cooks. Yeah, and the movies are different scopes as well. I think
what's interesting about the Fast and Furious franchise as a whole, but especially this movie, is that it's become a superhero franchise.
Yeah, and I don't like it.
It's like
tone it down, boys.
Yeah, I've accepted it. I feel like the more ridiculous the movie's got, I was on board. I'm like, this is what they are now. It didn't happen overnight. It took a period of years.
But the further we go in that superhero vein, the more CG and the worse it's going to get.
Yeah, but now we get to Hobbs and Shaw, where it's like there's too many sci-fi superhero elements that I feel like could have all been cut out of the film. And made a much stronger movie, and still been similar movie, but just much stronger. And would have removed the unnecessary CGI in that. I think the main problem with the movie is, it's too long, and it's just not very well written. There were scenes where I was like, this could have been shorter, or this could have been better explained, or...
I think there's a section in another country, which we won't name in the non-spoiler section. Yeah. It's a bit of a surprise, I guess. Yeah. And I feel like that section could have been a lot shorter. Yeah. There could have been a lot cut out there that we didn't really need.
I think when people watch superhero movies and action movies, they think, well, if the action's good, then, the script doesn't have to be good, But that's not true at all. I feel like even if the action was really good in this movie, and it's not bad, it's still... lacks from it's not a very compelling story, and the story doesn't have to be complex, it just has to be well told.
Exactly.
And the action should always augment the storytelling and the script.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be the storytelling.
Yeah, you can have a simple story, you can have the virus story and the villain and whatever, but it has to be well told and well structured and well paced, and I think Hobbs and Shaw suffers from not really having those things. Also, because it's a Fast and Furious spin-off, and because it's, basically a superhero movie at this point, it's PG-13, which is fine. That's what I expected it to be. But there are a couple of bits where it's very action-heavy fight scenes.
No blood.
And it's very it's very clear that they weren't allowed to show things.
That's one problem I had with the movie. There were a lot of guns in this movie, James. I don't know if you realised. But I'm pretty sure Hobbs and Shaw. I'm pretty sure Hobbs and Shaw didn't shoot anyone at all. Pretty much in the movie.
If they did, they didn't hit anyone.
No, Hobbs and Shaw, they arm themselves to the teeth with this weaponry, and they don't kill anyone.
Yeah, I guess because they just want to show Jason Statham and The Rock punching people.
Yeah,
but even then, they would get to a point where the punching has no effect or consequence.
This comes from a director behind John Wick.
Yeah.
The gunplay in that movie is the point.
Yeah.
So they can show how much of a badass Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, are, With guns. They've done it before with
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves. He's done it before with Keanu.
yeah.
It works.
I mean, and there are plenty of PG-13... I mean, I might not like it, but there are plenty of PG-13 movies with shootouts that are much better done than Hobbs and Shaw, where there's just like... There's shooting, but nothing's actually happening. There's no actual debris or blood or anything,
And
you know?
this is a situation, we'll call it the glorification of guns.
Mm.
In these movies like this, and PG-13 movies especially, there's no consequences.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
we don't see the consequences of these types of weapons on the screen.
Exactly.
But I feel like the most effective movies, take John Wick, you see the consequences of these weapons properly. You see the blood, the violence.
But I feel like, something like Mission Impossible Fallout, which was PG-13, but was really effective because it was just shot better. The sound design was better. There was just... when it came down to the shootouts and the fight scenes, it felt more real. It felt more grounded. It felt more heavy, even though there wasn't really any blood or violence.
No, but that's just good direction.
Exactly. So I feel like Hobbs and Shaw could have still maintained PG-13, could have still been relatively bloodless.
Yeah, but maintain that consequence, that sense of...
If it's just better shot, better sound design, like it could have been so much better. But unfortunately, at this point...
Because, at a certain point, really, the guns become almost meaningless.
Yeah.
If there's no real threat there,
no,
then the guns become meaningless.
Yeah. And if your characters are so, overpowered, then it's there's no danger of them...
The Rock tenses a bicep and it deflects bullets, basically.
Yeah.
What...
I mean, but I think that's what people want
that's
from
what people want to see, but they want to have the guns.
But actually, they should have actually done that in the movie. That would have been great. Am I the only one who thought the soundtrack was really bad?
No, I thought it was okay.
The songs were whack.
I didn't mind it.
Alan, any thoughts?
All I can say is, the soundtrack wasn't memorable to me at all.
Yeah. I'm not talking about just the score. The score wasn't good, but the soundtrack of songs I don't think were good either.
I haven't got my phone on me, but I'd have to look up a list. I didn't...
No, that was weird. It was there was a love song in the start, and then there's some weird pop song at the end, and there's some crappy rock songs in the middle there that sound like early 2000s songs.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, I think. Yeah. It wasn't...
it's not... Anyway, that's just... let's go into spoilers because we're just kind of beating around the bush here. So this is a major spoiler warning for Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. And a major spoiler warning for all the Fast and Furious movies, but Hobbs and Shaw especially. So spoiler warning for Hobbs and Shaw. So what we were getting at before was that The Rock is such a huge megastar that he just overtakes movies that he's in. And sometimes he overtakes entire franchises, like in this case. And sometimes that's not really a bad thing. I think The Rock's best movie is Fast and Furious 5. I feel like The Rock's other movies... haven't really been that good, most of them.
Baywatch was alright. I just hope it doesn't get a sequel.
Baywatch, but
Fast and Furious 5 is Brazil, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, it's a good, and he's really good in it because he's the antagonist, but he's also...
Yeah, I think that's my favourite Fast and Furious movie.
It's really good, right? Because it reinvents...
They're all hiding out, and it
reinvents the franchise as the action heist thriller kind of thing. And then they got...
And just to mention the fight scene in that between him and Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
That is, I think, kind of where towards the end of the era, it was still believable stuff.
Yeah.
It was highly packed of action, But
there was
wall breaking.
They were really fighting though. That wasn't choreographed.
Yeah. You can't steal my franchise.
So real.
That's why it felt real.
I think why that's a good fight scene though is because the characters there's stakes. Vin Diesel is fighting for his freedom, and there's there's a rivalry between the two. But when you get to something like Hobbs and Shaw, which is so over the top and so CGI filled and so much of a superhero movie, that it's just The Rock fighting faceless goons. There's no real emotional stakes or anything.
And I think that, as you said, faceless goons, I think Idris Elba's a very good actor.
Yeah.
And he elevates his character above what He's kind of a pretty crap role.
Brixton is not a good villain. He's not well written, and I don't like his name, Brixton, either. But yeah, because it's Idris Elba, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's cool, you know?
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing really...
even I look at this movie through a lens of James Bond a little bit, and I see like the sort of... There's almost a Blofeld in this movie.
This is what I want to talk about. Actually, let me finish my thought on The Rock, and then we'll get to that. So, what I was saying about The Rock was like...
Overpowering franchise.
Yeah, he takes over the franchise. So, The Rock... Like, and that's, you know, in terms of Fast and Furious, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, he came in, in Fast and Furious 5, it was a good antagonist, but he became an ally.
Because there's a contract that states The Rock cannot be a bad guy forever.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. and so, like, I feel like he was a good addition to the team. And then it kind of got to the point whereas like his star was too big for the Fast and Furious franchise to contain it, and so they had to spin it off with Hobbs and Shaw, which apparently pissed Vin Diesel off. And yeah, again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but as Nathan and I were discussing before the show, you can kind of feel in Hobbs and Shaw especially, but in a lot of recent Rock movies, where it's like The Rock isn't playing a character, he just plays The Rock. And especially in Hobbs and Shaw, where it's literally just The Rock. Yeah. Like, he does the eyebrow, he has the catchphrases, he goes, like, his family's from Samoa, and they do this whole thing about the tribal tattoos, and that's fine. I mean, actors can bring their real-life backgrounds into a role, but I feel like with The Rock, it's just like every role now is just he's The Rock.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was worried... that we talked about this quite a while ago when Shazam came out and The Rock is playing Black Adam. And we were talking about how I'm worried that because of his stardom, he's going to change the role to the point where it's not Black Adam, it's The Rock. And to the point where Black Adam's not so much of a bad guy, he's actually an anti-hero, or he might even be a good guy, you know?
That's going to happen.
Yeah, and it might get to the point where he might fight Shazam, but then because The Rock is such a big star, they'll do Black Adam 2, where it's just a superhero movie where he's the good guy and on his own, you know? And
what's the bet that Black Adam won't lose to Shazam? At best, it'll be...
Yeah, like a draw. Or, yeah, something, yeah. So, and not only that, but also The Rock... how do I explain it?
He's The Rock's ego.
Yeah.
derailing the franchise.
Exactly, and because he's in such high demand, like, you know, Black Adam... like the filming's being pushed back, and like Hobbs and Shaw, like even if they do another Hobbs and Shaw, which I think they will, like it's just the whole franchise, the whole movie is made around The Rock.
Yeah, no, and you can feel that.
I mean, he's The Rock, so I mean, he's the base.
But you can feel that in the movie.
Yeah, and that, bringing it back to Hobbs and Shaw, you can feel that in it, like where it's just kind of like
it's very Rock centric.
It's just a Rock movie. Jason Statham. You know, Jason Statham's, I think he's
good in it.
He's good at, and he's like charismatic enough. He can you know, go toe to toe with The Rock in terms of on-screen persona. But like they make the joke that Shaw is Hobbs' sidekick, and Shaw's like, "What sidekick? That's bullshit." But it's like it almost feels like that.
Yeah, no, it does. I reckon.
You know, and I feel like to tie it into the Bond point that you're making, they could have used this movie as a way to humanize and redeem Shaw, who was a villain in Fast and Furious 7 and who killed Han. Justice for Han. We're treating Shaw like a good guy now, but let not this distract us from the fact that this guy killed Han. And
see, that's what I was going to get to. Is you know the secret bad guy is actually Han. He's still alive.
Oh man, that's. I mean, like
I kind of want that to happen.
Yeah, like I don't want that to happen, but also. No, that doesn't make any sense. But
no, that doesn't make
Shaw
any sense.
As a friend after the fact that he killed a friend makes sense either.
Yeah, but I mean, the movie doesn't make a lot of sense either. So, but yeah, like I feel like because there are but see, this is the other thing. Idris Elba's character Brixton, they reveal that he has a past with Shaw,
which we don't see.
Which I think the movie the movie should have opened like GoldenEye, with Shaw and Brixton on a mission, and Shaw having and Brixton betraying Shaw, and then Shaw having to kill Brixton.
That would have been cool, and that would have established a relationship.
Yeah, then when Brixton returns, and Shaw has that shocked look on his face, even the audience would be shocked as well, even though we've seen the trailers, But in the movie, you don't get that. You don't get the background.
There's no payoff there. Yeah.
So Brixton, who you see throughout the movie doing bad stuff, he shows up and to fight Shaw, and Shaw's like, he's back, and then he's like, I thought I killed you, and I'm like, this isn't surprising. We didn't know any of this information until just now.
That would have been really cool.
They should have set this up more, and I think the movie should have been, but like we said, The Rock takes over the movie, but the movie should have been about Shaw's past and how he redeems himself from being a bad guy to a good guy.
Yeah, and one of the other problems is that I think both Alan and I had a problem with this movie is they try to focus on Shaw's family a little bit in this film. Yeah. His sister, his mother, but do we hear one word about the other brother?
That's what I thought was really weird. They don't mention his brother at all.
No,
not even an offhanded line.
No, let's just pretend it never existed.
It's so weird. Like...
Because he's a real bad guy. They don't discuss him.
No,
but
Mum's in prison. But isn't that different?
like don't they all become good guys now? Because they just like they're like, oh, sorry about like trying to kill you and killing Han and everything.
I mean, I might be a little bit of a terrorist. But does that make me a bad guy?
And then they help Dom. They help Dom get his baby back. So it's like,
that's one of
everything is forgiven.
Shaw holding the baby is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise.
See, Fast and Furious 8 is good.
Shaw and the baby is my favorite sort of sequence in the entire franchise.
It's so good. It's so well done.
That's just because I really like Jason Statham.
Yeah, but it's well done.
And he pulls it off.
Fast and Furious 8 is dumb, but it's so well done. Like the zombie cars and like the dumb stuff that happens, it's so well executed, and the story is simple to follow, But when you get to Hobbs and Shaw and there's too much CGI, too much sci-fi superhero stuff, it goes too far,
It does. And circling back to what I was saying about this movie could almost be a James Bond movie. Yeah. There's almost a Blofeld figure. Yeah. It's unclear. Is it an AI or is it a dude with a voice?
No, I think it's a dude with a voice changer who's like a Blofeld behind the scenes.
That's very unclear.
Yeah. So I think one of the problems I have with this movie is that, like I said, the script's not very well written. They need to simplify it and streamline it, shorten it. What was the organization that Brixton was a member of? Etion,
I think?
Something like that.
I think it was Etion.
Yeah. So he's part of this mysterious tech cult who want to augment humans with technology so they can be the next step in evolution and take over the world. But it's like they're this huge organization with all these members, and it's like...
And they control the media.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this feels like, who are these people? Like, they come out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're like Tech Spectre.
Like, yeah, it's like, but they're not like a secret underground
they're like a
criminal organization.
Company.
Yeah, it's like they've got this big headquarters, like, in the middle of... And I'm just like, what? And the fact that they control the media and all this, it's like really weird. And like, I feel like they should have just been like, Idris Elba's character is a terrorist.
Yeah, and keep it simple.
And he should have been part of a terrorist organization who's trying to steal the virus to sell it to the highest bidder. Just make it the simplest, most, cliche action movie premise.
And Idris Elba himself, he's a strong enough actor that would have been enough.
Yeah.
Without all this, bullshit cybernetic enhancements.
All the cybernetic stuff doesn't mean shit. All you can say, if you want Idris Elba to be able to defeat The Rock, all you have to say is Idris Elba's character is the greatest martial artist in the MI6.
Have you seen Luther? He's a badass.
No,
like have Luther versus The Rock.
Yeah, but
that's interesting enough.
Luther fights dirty.
He does.
That's how he would win. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they pulled out all this technological crap, like like Brixton's motorbike with the transformer motorbike. I hated
it. Yeah, There's a scene where they almost, and this is not when they're moving. This is all sort of like, there's one point where they sort of get on the motorbike, but they might be moving, but like they're going underneath something, and they're basically touching the ground.
Yeah, there's a truck going through the intersection, and Shaw his McLaren is low enough that they can drift underneath it, and then Brixton's on his techno motorbike, and what they should have done was the motorbike should have just been a normal motorbike, and he should have slid under it, and there should have been sparks. A really great practical stunt. That would have been great. I would have been going clapping my hands. But instead, it's a techno transformer motorbike that kind of flattens itself and twists around so the wheels are facing towards, so that he can just kind of bob underneath the truck. And I'm just like, this is dumb. Why did that was completely unnecessary.
It didn't work for me.
There's a bit at the
I can explain why they did it. They were actually paying homage to a very, very old South Indian movie where a guy drifts a horse under a truck.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that.
I think that's where they got the inspiration.
Yeah. But, I mean, actually, okay, so now we have to rewind because wouldn't it have been better if Brixton had a horse and drifted the horse underneath? Like, actually, that's what was missing from John Wick 3, even with the great horse action scene.
Drifting.
Needed horse sliding underneath the truck. But, yeah, like, all they need, the only technology they need in the movie is the virus.
That's it.
And just say it's nanobots. That's it. All the other stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, all the other stuff can be cut out. Like the motorbike and the guns that only fire if you have the ID chip, and that
was crap.
Yeah, like Brixton's cybernetic implants and his like eye HUD, like that. You don't need any of that.
The cybernetic stuff is like, is he Terminator or not? Like, can he be shot? No. Can he be injured? Not really.
But like they explain that he's got like the bulletproof armor, and I'm just like it's
a bit of a wank.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
of course, it's a bit of a wank when they call him the Black Superman. Like,
yeah, but like
it's the biggest wank.
But if you cut out all that, you can still pretty much have the same movie. It's just better now because you have to focus on the practical action and stunts. And that's why, like, I think they
use CG as an excuse.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like the movie already has similarities to Fallout.
It's just not as good.
So why not, like, if you have to live up to that? Like,
and this franchise has the money, man.
That's the thing. They spent like $200 million on this movie. A lot of that was probably just on CGI crap.
I think it was just paying themselves.
Actually,
yes.
Yeah, like that was like mostly The Rock's paycheck.
Look, if Tom Cruise, I say this a lot on the show, if Tom Cruise can fly a helicopter in a spiral, we should be able to get some practical effects in other movies.
Yeah, like, but you can see, like, I'm trying to think of all the action scenes in this movie. They can easily be redone with mostly practical effects.
No, definitely.
And it would have made the movie so much better. Like, we would have been singing his praises rather than complaining about it.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Except for the helicopter.
Except for the helicopter.
Well, see, that's the thing is, like, when the helicopter bit at the end starts and he hooks it up, I'm like, when he jumps the hot rod and hooks it up underneath, I'm like, that looked pretty cool. Like, that was pretty cool. Then
the moment the hooks and stuff started, I told Nathan he's going to do a Captain America.
But but see, like then the helicopter is being dragged behind the hot rod, right? And it's a real helicopter. Like, it looks pretty good. It's just the crappy CGI chain, but that can be forgiven. But then they hook up like two or three more.
The helicopter wouldn't be going anywhere, man. Yeah, that's too much weight.
But it's like most of it looks all right, but then they always go too far.
And they have The Rock exhibiting his enormous Herculean strength.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. If you're setting up Idris Elba's character as this Black Superman,
they should have got him to do it.
Yeah, like if you're setting him up as like an invincible cybernetic soldier, but then your human character, played by The Rock, is also an unstoppable killing machine. Like, there's no stakes. There's no tension.
Like, ideally, that scene would have had maybe the boys trying to escape from Idris Elba with the girl and the virus on a helicopter.
Oh, that would have been
Idris
good.
Elba hooks a chain to the helicopter, and then you see him with his cybernetic strength holding the helicopter at bay.
That would have been...
Instead of The Rock, who's just a man...
Yeah. But
holding the tension.
Yeah, because, like I said, The Rock is so larger than life in real life. So you kind of want to see him doing crazy over the top stuff.
For me, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah, but it gets kind of ridiculous when he's in a superhero movie, and he's the only non-superhero character, but who can keep up with all the superpowered characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they just need to cut out all that CGI crap, all this sci-fi stuff. Just get rid of it.
Then next time, if we're doing a Rock action movie, hypothetically, we're making a movie with The Rock. I'd say if you can do it practical, Dwayne, go ahead. If you want to try and hold a chain to a helicopter...
No, they don't have to literally do it. Like, he doesn't have to kill himself doing it, but...
If you can do it, buddy, go ahead.
Hey, man, if Tom Cruise can do it...
If Tom Cruise
would have done it.
He would have found a way.
Tom Cruise would have done it. He's like, no, I'm going to do the chain thing. And they're like, that's impossible, Tom. He's like, no, I'm going to do it.
Just record it very... what's the word? When it's like slow-mo.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'll hold it for 1 second, and then we'll use it.
Stretch it out, yeah. No, that would be a great headline to see, like Tom Cruise's arm ripped out of socket, trying to tow a helicopter by hand.
It's like production pushback 6 months. Tom Cruise is quoted saying, worth it.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just grow another one. You know, I'll just
stitch it back on. They were able to reattach it. It's fine.
So I'll be back in a couple of months. Also, one thing I don't like about the movie is that the whole virus thing, which I think's fine, even though I've seen it in, as Mission Impossible 2 and every other sci-fi movie, and every other action movie, there's always like a virus thing. But
Pierce Brosnan's one's my favorite for the virus. What's that one? It was crappy on Netflix and it made people literally explode.
Oh yeah, Livewire.
Livewire. They handled that the best.
But that wasn't a virus though, was it? It was like an ingestible explosive.
Something like that. It's a similar enough premise.
That was funny.
That was good.
Like to go to the hot dog stand or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't you had to put in water or whatever? So the bad guy had to jump in the water, and they had to stop him jumping in the water. Yeah. That shit was funny, man.
Yeah.
Anyway. What was I saying?
I don't know.
We should review Livewire. We should review shitty Pierce Brosnan action movies that aren't James Bond, because he's made a few.
Anyway, so the virus wasn't done back.
So like the nano, like, so there's this nanovirus, you can inject it in someone and like you program it so it only attacks certain DNA sequences or certain whatever. They don't explain it very well. Shaw's sister injects herself with it to keep it out of Brixton's hands, and then they're like, it'll if it's not programmed, it'll kill her in 42 or 48 hours or something, or 72 hours, but she'll start dying in 40
a week
hours.
later, she's still fine.
Yeah, and then the movie takes place at least over a few days, but then they don't really explain. There's no...
Like, they could have fixed that by having a small sequence where they can hit a pause button.
What they literally should have done was have her, like, she injects herself and then, like...
Sets a timer on her watch or
Sets a timer on watch for, like, 48 hours, and then the movie should have kept reminding you of, like,
But it's a little unbelievable when they're, like, traveling to all these different destinations and we see day and night sequences.
But it's like, I wouldn't even bothered so much by the day and night sequences, like, obviously stretching out the time, if it, like... But it destroys the tension, because you're like, she's fine now, she'll be fine later. It should have been like a ticking time bomb, like it's ticking down, and she should have been like visibly deteriorating, and there should have been a desperation for Hobbs and Shaw to save her. Like there's nothing in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do.
She might as well have been carrying it in her pocket.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Also, yeah, like I said about like Shaw's background, like it's just convoluted. Like in Fast and Furious 7, I think he was like a special forces guy who turned to a criminal, and his brother was a criminal, and his mum's a criminal, and he tries to kill.
And we didn't know he had a sister.
And yeah, we didn't know he had a sister at the time. And he kills Han, and he tries to kill the rest of the family, the familia, I should say. But then like he gets defeated, but he becomes a good guy. And then his brother becomes a good guy just by default. And then the mum helps them, but she's still kind of a criminal, but she's not too bad. Helen Mirren's pretty great though. You gotta.
She's always pretty good.
And now he has a sister introduced, but she's a good guy. She's an MI6 agent,
which is weird. She wouldn't pass the background check at all.
But then they reveal that when her and Shaw were kids, they used to like do cons and grifts on people. So it's like she's always been, and her mother's a criminal boss.
I don't think
boss.
they would have let her in MI6.
Yeah. So, but then it's revealed that actually Shaw was also an MI6 agent with Brixton, but Brixton betrayed Shaw and made it look like he killed his team, and so Shaw became an outlaw. But then why was Shaw being an outlaw for all those years if he was actually a good guy the whole time? Like, they keep retconning it. I know these movies are dumb and they're not, but like, pick one thing and then stick with that.
Yeah.
Don't keep going. That's why I feel like they could have used the movie to explore Shaw and be like, yeah, he was a bad guy. But
The Rock.
But yeah, exactly. Then The Rock takes over the movie he's like, yeah, you've got your, family over there. But
did you hear that The Rock's from Samoa?
Yeah, it's like, but did you know have you seen my tribal tats?
Ryan Reynolds has one too, all right?
That was great. Well, actually, we'll talk about we'll talk about the cameos after this. But yeah, so
you seen The Rock's cousin, Roman Reigns?
Yeah. Now then Roman Reigns rocks up.
I was seeing it in a Friday night, and when they were on their way to Samoa, I think I talked to Alan. I'm like, one of them is going to be Roman Reigns, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have a relative that is Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And we were correct.
Of course, it's his cuz.
And the thing is, like, look, I get it. He's your quote-unquote cousin, and you're trying to push him as well and promote him and all that. But there was literally, like, it got to the point where they did not... I mean, I don't know how much of a shit they gave for this movie, but for the final scene, when The Rock comes home with his daughter...
Yeah.
Comes home with his daughter to meet her grandmother...
Yeah.
They're standing in front of the grandmother and the family who's standing on the balcony. They're standing there, The Rock, and he's got Roman Reigns next to him. And, it's all, we're together as a family. They cut. It's the same scene, but they take one cut. And now it's showing everything from The Rock's perspective, looking up at the balcony. And then Roman Reigns is up at the balcony looking down at him.
Oh, really?
It's just like, are you serious?
He's in there. He's like, maybe there's two Roman. Maybe there's twins. Maybe the mum had identical twins.
Roman Reigns and Roman Dry.
Oh god.
I was like, did you not care that much?
Yeah.
They probably shot the first like with the scene with Roman Reigns on the balcony on the porch. And then The Rock was like, "No, he's my cousin. He has to be next to me." And then they shot, and then they forgot and they just edited it together. But yeah, like The Rock just completely overtakes the movie. And like I said, it's fine that like Hobbs has the same background as The Rock. That makes perfect sense. But yeah, it feels like it overpowers the movie.
And this is where I'd cut quite a bit of content from the film too. I feel like the last act was a little bit too long.
Yeah, I feel like the start of the movie needs reworking. The end of the movie needs reworking. The Moscow sequence needs reworking. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I felt like when they get to Moscow, it almost feels like the end of the movie, and then they go to Samoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
and
feel
then, so
that.
it's like, and they keep going.
And I think the problem with the Samoa sequence, the Samoa part of the movie, is there's just too much preparation time, and then the fight drags on too long.
Yeah,
for me, and the whole shtick with we can disable their guns because it's smart technology.
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah,
I mean that was just a way for them to fight with the tribal weapons without just getting slaughtered. I understand why they did it.
Yeah,
but I feel like.
I feel like anytime you can do a action scene without resorting to just shootouts,
it's good.
That's always interesting. But yeah, it's not really well done in the movie. Like, there's nothing really interesting about them fighting guys with tribal weapons. Like, there's not, and because there's like a lot of shaky cam and quick cuts, and then it devolves into CGI. It's not really special or interesting or different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Samoa scene was also where I felt there was that, I wouldn't call it animosity, but that kind of ego of, hey, we can do Fast and Furious 2, how they had all the cars that his brother was making, and all the cars, Hobbs' badges that they were focused on for a second, Motors by Hobbs or whatever it was, and the whole kind of, they're like, yeah, we're also Fast and Furious, but we're Samoan.
But
we saw... America and Japan, we send motorbikes over there. I'm like, I'm sure you do. Yeah. I'm sure everyone's on technology, bro.
Yeah, everyone's going to Samoa for their car mods. Yeah, but it's not just the fast, like, because the movie's not about cars. Like, it's a Fast and Furious spin-off, but like they don't really make an effort for it to be about cars, except at the end where there's like the chop shop and the hot rods and stuff.
The Nelson helicopter scene.
The what scene?
The helicopter scene.
Yeah, with
everyone's using
the hot rods. Yeah. Hang on, you're cutting out, Alan.
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit, Alan.
Yeah.
Oh no, I will try and fix things.
That's all right. We can hear you now.
That's a bit better now. Okay.
Well, but yeah, like as I was saying, like it's not really about the cars, and that's fine. I mean, it is a spin-off. And like I said, the Fast and Furious movies have even changed into superhero movies, or like they've changed that as well. But I feel like you were saying, how they're like it's it's almost like poking at Fast and Furious and saying, oh, we can do cars too. It's also like doing we can do the family as well. Because, you know, like the last few Fast and Furious movies, they've always been like, where this is our family, you know, familiar. And then Hobbs and Shaw is like literally like...
The next family is going to be Hobbs, Shaw, Roman Reigns, and Kevin Hart.
Well, and that's another thing I want to talk about. So
and maybe Ryan Reynolds.
One thing I liked about the movie, and that I didn't like, that surprised me, you know how I said it was everything I expected, but and they kept this pretty secret, is that Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart have cameos.
Kevin Hart's not surprising though.
Well,
because he's worked with The Rock a few times.
True. Well, and Ryan Reynolds was in Deadpool too, so that the director connection there. But so yeah, it's like not surprising that they're those actors, but it's like I didn't know they were in the movie, and it was fun to see them.
It certainly was fun. I enjoyed those portions.
Yeah, and their bits are really funny. And I don't really like Kevin Hart that much, but his bits I thought were really good.
He was good. There's one nitpick I have about this movie.
Yeah.
The fact that there's an air marshal apparently working on a flight between London and Moscow. I don't think American Airlines do Europe to Europe generally. Usually like a country's airline will go to different regions, but there's always like a connection to that home point.
Yeah.
So I feel like
because he's a US air marshal.
Because he's a US air marshal, he shouldn't be operating on an inter-European flight.
Maybe,
but that's a small nitpick.
Maybe he was just hitching a ride. Like, we don't know.
Then he shouldn't be acting in an official capacity.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true too. But
that's a small nitpick.
He was trying very hard to impress.
He was. Yeah. He was pretty good.
Yeah, but as we were saying before, like I feel like, you know, Hobbs and Shaw seems to be doing really well, and you know, The Rock like pretty much breaking off from the Fast and Furious franchise and doing his own thing. Like they're gonna make more, and I feel like with Fast and Furious, they can do another Hobbs and Shaw where it's like Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart like team up with Hobbs and Shaw, and then they become like the new team.
And Roman Reigns.
And
they can work him in there too.
I heard they wanted to get Jason Momoa in this one, but they couldn't get him. So maybe in the next one they'll get...
Roman Reigns is discount Jason Momoa.
Of course he is.
No, what they'll do is they'll replace Roman Reigns' character with Jason Momoa.
Yeah. It's the same dude all along.
Yeah, they'll retcon it,
But look, I can see them doing that, but that will not help things with the main franchise. That will make Vin Diesel...
No, yeah, but I feel like at this point, like Hobbs and Shaw, The Rock's gonna do his own thing, and if he's not in the Fast and Furious movies, that's fine.
But do you think that'll happen? Do you think?
If they make money, they'll do it.
No, but do you think? What I mean is, do you think Vin Diesel will turn around and say, "Well, I don't want The Rock in these movies anymore. Keep him in his own spin-offs"?
No. As far as I know, The Rock has said, like, I'm not going to be in the Fast and Furious movies anymore.
Okay.
And, like, I'm going to do Hobbs and Shaw. And then I'm assuming they're going to do Hobbs and Shaw 2. And, you know, now they're going to start working on Fast and Furious 9 without The Rock. But as far as I know, Shaw and his mother are going to be in Fast and Furious 9.
Will Vin Diesel kill off Shaw? Just to spite The Rock?
No. See, the studio... this is the thing with studio film. It's like they've become superhero movies. They've become Marvel movies where it's all interconnected.
I guarantee you there's a script somewhere where Vin Diesel's like, and Shaw dies. So The Rock can't use it.
See, The Rock would like that because then he can just do Hobbs.
That's true. It's playing into his endgame.
And it can just be a revenge movie.
Whoa.
Like where Hobbs has to avenge Shaw with Shaw's sister.
The Rock has a contingency either way. Yeah.
See? Like that works out better for The Rock.
Yeah, it's all about him now.
It's blow up in Vin Diesel's face. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, like it's a superhero movie. Like Hobbs and Shaw has like 3 end credit scenes.
Did we see them all? We saw a couple.
Yeah, I mean, there's one that's just Ryan Reynolds on the phone.
Yeah.
And then there's one at the end that's the same scene. It's just cut. It's like cut from the same scene. It's like still on the phone, but in a different...
Was there another stinger?
Yeah, there's where Jason Statham Shaw's in the pub and the cops come.
Oh, yeah.
They look for Hugh Janus.
Yeah, Hugh Janus. Mike Oxmall.
Yeah.
That's what, Mike Oxmall. I like the Italian Job reference as well.
Yeah.
Did you get that one,
I
Alan?
did.
No, I didn't get that one.
I got that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
with the mini.
Yeah, it was a mini. And he's like, we did a job in Rome or something like that.
Yeah, it's like we use that in Italy.
Well, I've seen the Italian Job, so...
You haven't seen it?
No.
I've seen the original.
I mean, to be honest, neither the original or the new one are that good. But, I mean, they're not bad. You'd like the remake, Alan, of the Italian Job.
I might give it a watch sometime.
Yeah.
But I was thinking more on the storyline where obviously Shaw gets killed in the Fast and Furious movie, and then obviously Hobbs has to take revenge, but Vin Diesel ain't going to do that. So I reckon they will hire Michael Chiklis to be Toretto in the Hobbs sequel.
Like a discount Dom. That would be hilarious. Oh man, so good.
It was like you got shorter and fatter somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's also like we were talking about with the whole like James Bond thing, like the whole Etion mysterious techno terrorist organization.
The not Spectre group.
Yeah, they're like a Spectre group, and they have like a mysterious leader who you only hear his voice, but it's like modulated.
I wasn't sure if it was meant to be some sort of like really advanced AI system or it's a dude.
Like I think it's a guy who's just like hiding his identity.
It's actually a 12-year-old kid on the internet.
Well, as was it you or Alan who mentioned it's Han?
Well, yeah, Alan was like, but that doesn't make any sense. But he what does he say? He says something to Hobbs like, "Don't you remember me?" Something like that. So it might be someone from one of the previous movies. I don't know.
We'll never know. Probably.
Oh, dude, when Hobbs 2 and Hobbs 3 and Hobbs 4 and Hobbs 5 and Hobbs 6 comes out, Hobbs and Shaw 6 comes out,
it's a black guy from Fast and Furious 7, I think.
What guy?
The one who's after the God's Eye. He's from Blood Diamond.
Oh, Jimon Honsu. No, he died, didn't he?
Yeah, so he died, quote unquote.
Oh, yeah, he faked his death. No, most people are saying it's Charlize Theron's character from the last movie, which makes sense because she's a techno genius. But, I mean, I think, like, I don't know. And if Hobbs isn't in Fast and Furious 9, and I know for a fact...
Hobbs' late wife.
And I know if Charlize Theron is in Fast and Furious 9, so I don't know. I mean, these movies don't make any sense, so we're just theorizing. We're using logic and, actual...
Logic does not apply.
Yeah. Because
the movies are so heavy on family, it's going to be Hobbs' late wife.
Well, yeah, we never see his wife. So, like, at one point, she's got to be revealed, and, like, they'd have to get someone famous, like, and, like, a badass. She'd have to be, like, a badass. You know what I mean? Like, if they are going to... Because they never mention it. They don't mention if she's alive or...
No, they just don't mention it at all.
Yeah. So, like in Hobbs and Shaw 2 or 3, they can bring that up. Is The Rock married in real life? Apparently, if he just plays The Rock, he can just have his own wife.
He could be married. Doesn't mean he's a faithful husband.
Yeah.
I reckon they can use Gina Torres.
Yeah, that would be cool. We've run out of time for the live portion. So thank you very much, Alan, for joining us from afar.
It was my pleasure.
Do you want to plug your show?
Sure. Tune into Sunrise Arcade every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on 98.9 Northwest FM for all your gaming news and reviews.
Yeah, and you can listen to the podcast, download that as well. Matt's up next with Car Talk. So if you're a Fast and Furious fan, that'll be good to listen to. And if you're listening to the podcast, we'll be back in a sec. Yeah, so we're back and Alan's left, but we're still here. I just wanted to talk quickly about the rest of the Fast and Furious franchise and Fast 9 because, like, Vin Diesel apparently wanted to do, after Fast 8 to do Fast 9. But then the producers were like, no, Hobbs and Shaw, the characters work really well together. So they did the spin-off with The Rock and that pissed Vin Diesel off.
Understandably.
Like, yeah, and he's like, you can do Hobbs and Shaw later. We'll do Fast and Furious 9 first. But they're like, no, we want to do that first. And that obviously pushed Fast 9 until next year or the year after. So, yeah, I mean, like we said, like Hobbs and Shaw is like a superhero movie, but it's not tied in so closely like the Marvel movies are with the mainline Fast and Furious movie. So you don't have to have seen the Fast and Furious
There's some shared characters, but that's about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty standalone.
Yeah, but like even like, you know, like the end credits scenes, like they're just jokes. Like they don't actually tie. There's no. I thought they were going to reveal who the big bad villain was, you know. And if it is Charlize Theron's character from Fast and Furious, and they like. And like we said, if The Rock isn't going to be in Fast 9...
I feel like it's not going to be Charlize Theron, though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the timeline... I know timelines aren't this franchise's strongest point.
Yeah.
But, like, would she have... Is the time between her movie in the Fast and Furious and this movie long enough for her to establish such a...
But see, this organization has been established for at least as long as Brixton betrayed Shaw, which I think they say was 8 years ago. So it's at least a 10-year-old organization, possibly even older. So she might not set it up. She might just have been... Look,
that's true.
These movies don't make any sense. That you know, she could have set it up in 6 months. You know, it's a dumb premise anyway. But one of the reasons I think it's not her is because they seem to get these big stars on board, make them bad guys, and then
make them good guys.
And then they make them good guys. But like, because Charlize Theron's character was the bad guy, but then they didn't kill her off at the end. She escaped. So it's like they'll probably just end up making her a good guy as well. And like, there are rumors that they're going to make like a female-led spin-off, Fast and Furious spin-off movie as well. So, I mean, she could be the villain in that, or she could like join them as another hero, you know? So, I mean, who knows? It's like the Marvel movies. Like, there's just like speculation and like all this crazy stuff going on. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, like if Fast and Furious 10 doesn't take place in space, I'm going to be disappointed.
I've read something on the internet that they're not opposed to Fast and Furious going to space?
Like, I feel like...
Did I read an article? I'm going to look that up, but I'm pretty sure they've commented that it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I feel like there's been enough of a fan reaction saying, like, you just have to go to space at this point. Like, it's so crazy over the top that you might as well do it. And I think, the writers or something were just like, yeah, we could.
Yeah, 27th of July, article from Polygon.com states that Fast and the Furious writer says future movie set in space is not out of the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the logical next step, really, considering how crazy these movies have gotten. It's just, it's an interesting evolution over the past almost 20 years from where it started. And, like, you know, I still think the first movie is the best movie. I really like 5, and that's when it's kind of reinvented it as an action sort of franchise. But I really, really like 6 as well. A lot of people don't like 6. They're like, 5's really good, and then 6 is really bad. I really like 6. But, like, I just, like, it's just a fun franchise. Like, it's just kind of... And because it's taken so long to get to this point, if they went from 1 to 8 without any of the in-between... I would have been like, what the hell did they do? They ruined this franchise.
It was a slow build-up.
But because it was such a slow build-up and they had to...
But, I mean, it's taken over such a long time that our tastes have changed, or our tastes haven't changed. The mainstream audience tastes have changed.
Yeah.
So it was really just keeping up with... what's expected of like a modern action movie.
Which is kind of a sad thing because it turns into what Hobbs and Shaw is, which is a dumb sci-fi superhero movie, which is what, you know, it should have been more of a... If it is going to be an over-the-top action movie, it has to be an over-the-top action movie in the same way Fallout was, you know?
Definitely.
But yeah, like, I'm excited to see, you know, the next Fast and Furious 9. I really like these movies. I really like the characters. And... Han has to come back and they really have to address that. I feel like fans have been vocal enough about like them ignoring Shaw's role in Han's death that they're going to have to address it at some point.
You say bringing it back. How? Like another prequel movie?
No. Like he was...
Resurrected from the dead?
Yeah, like...
Or he's...
Look, okay, so before Hobbs and Shaw came out, me and Matt, who's been on the show and who has his car show, we always used to joke. because we love the me and him, like huge Fast and Furious fans. We watched the first movie constantly. We watched it not long ago.
The first movie is one of the best movies in the franchise.
I mean, I love it. Like, I can quote every line from that movie. But we always used to joke about Cyborg Han. Like, Han would come back as a cyborg, like it would be hilarious. But now that Hobbs and Shaw has come out and has set up cybernetic implants, it's literally could happen.
It could.
Like, we were just joking. Like, wouldn't it be funny if he came back and had like a robot eye and a robot arm? But like, they set up in Hobbs and Shaw that this technology exists
and
in this universe.
And Idris Elba's alive because of it.
Yeah.
A similar, like, Idris Elba gets shot in the head and somewhere else.
In the chest. Yeah.
And he's alive due to these cybernetics. So the technology exists. Having said that, they would have had to, like, I mean, did the technology exist when Han died, though?
Well, I mean, in the weird timeline of the movies, that only took place a few years ago. And like I said,
that's true.
The Etion, or whatever they're called, the organization,
would have been around for longer.
Has been around for longer. And like we keep saying, none of this makes any sense, and these movies just keep retconning and changing things. So of course they can do it.
I mean, and he was one of the most popular characters in the franchise.
That's why they kept delaying his death.
Yeah,
you know.
So it would make sense that they do find a way to bring him back. But would Vin Diesel, out of spite for The Rock, acknowledge this technology in the mainstream series?
I don't think that has anything to do with The Rock. I feel like that's if I feel like Vin Diesel.
True.
I think Vin Diesel would be happier for Sung Kang to come back, you know, as Han. But and also Justin Lin, who directed Tokyo Drift, Fast 4, 5, 6, he's coming back for 9 and 10, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, and he's the one who invented Han and is really repping Han.
And they were good movies.
And he's the one who, I mean, Tokyo Drift wasn't, but Han, Han's the best part of that movie, and that's why they kept bringing him back. That's why when they killed him off in Tokyo Drift, they kept bringing him back because everyone loved him.
Now, there's a place in hell for Sean Boswell.
Oh, yeah.
And I do not like Donkey Kong. I do not like Sean Boswell.
Yeah.
I think he's a terrible main character.
35-year-old teenager.
But I do not like Sean Boswell.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind Tokyo Drift.
Look, like, if Alan was still on the line, he would be defending Tokyo Drift to the death. But it's not a good movie.
It's not a bad movie.
Nah. Like, it's not horrible, but it's just not good. Especially when you're coming off... Like, the second movie's not great either, but it's just the stakes seem low. The cast, you know, other than Han, the cast isn't strong. You know, like, it's...
I respectfully disagree. This is another conversation.
Yeah, like, we could do we could do 2 hours on just Tokyo Drift. I could do 20 hours just on the first movie.
But we can both acknowledge 2's not great.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but it's not great. Yeah. But what was I saying? Yeah, so Justin Lin, who really reps Han, who invented Han, like I said, fans have been vocal about, you know, Shaw and justice for Han, you know, like they have to address it at some point. So I feel like if not in the next movie, in the last movie, they'll have to address it. We already talked about Black Adam and how, you know, The Rock might...
He might ruin Black Adam,
that's
because we run into the danger of Black Adam not being...
him overpowering and taking the franchise away from Shazam and, you know, making his own thing. Also, David Leitch, the director of Hobbs and Shaw, we talked about quite a while ago about he's making the Division movie.
For Netflix.
For Netflix, yeah.
I'm very excited for that film.
Like we keep saying, like when it comes to action, he's a really, you know, good director, but, you know, it just really depends on the script, and it depends if you know, it's just a little bit troubling the way he's been going. Like, you know, from John Wick, which he co-directed, and then Atomic Blonde, those were like down and dirty, kind of simple action, you know, well shot, well choreographed. Then you get Deadpool 2, which has great action scenes, but is more of it's obviously a superhero movie, so it gets more over the top. And then you've got Hobbs and Shaw, which is crazy over the top and a bit of shaky cam, too much CGI. So, But now going to the Division, which is more of a straight action movie, like I'm hoping he reins it back to the Atomic Blonde, to the John Wick style of action. Like I hope there's not a lot of CGI. I hope there's not a lot of shaky cam, quick cuts. You know, like I feel like he can do it, but whether there's too many cooks or whether he thinks that, like, because I think it's a problem in the industry now where good directors are like, no, this is how you shoot action. You know, and cinematographers and choreographers and like, it's like a what's the word? Like, it's like a collective.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Collective mistake.
Yeah,
but that's not.
It's a trend. It's a trend shift.
It's a trend that it's just people keep falling in, and it sucked. But like we always talk about,
it's a thing of these movies that did it first made a shitload of money.
Yeah,
and they just replicate that.
But like we always talk about, people at the end of the day, audiences don't care. They like to go in the movies, shove popcorn in their face, and see the flashy lights and see The Rock joking around. You know, like they don't care if the action's well done. You know,
and that's a shame.
Even though there is a great response to John Wick, at the end of the day, most people just don't care, and that's a great shame because movies, action movies especially, just have become filled with CGI nonsense, shaky cam, dark, unseeable action scenes. You know, quick cuts, jerky crap everywhere. So hopefully The Division, you know, lives up to the kind of its John Wick roots, to its sort of 90s action thriller roots, and is not, because it's based on a video game, I hope they don't just be like, oh, and this is just lots of CGI crap and guys running around. And
I hope not, because the way The Division plays is it's just a post-apocalyptic New York.
Yeah.
You don't need that much CG.
No.
It's the stakes of that game are very low.
Yeah, like I'm hoping it has more in common with the shootout from Heat than it does with even John Wick.
Yeah.
As much as I keep saying it should be a John Wick style action, like I'm hoping it has more of a grounded 90s thriller action
100%.
sensibility than the even more stylized action from John Wick. Or, you know, and in the worst case scenario, the action we see in movies like Hobbs Shaw, where it's just too over the top. There's too much, you know, crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know what I mean? Well, I think that's about it. Do you want to mention anything else about Hobbs Shaw?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah. Oh, we could talk about Netflix on Foxtel.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so the Netflix... Yeah, so did you see the Netflix thing? We always talk about how Foxtel's obsolete. They should get rid of it, but it's so ingrained into Australian society and culture. And
boomer society.
Yeah, and so Fox has infiltrated the Australian government to such a point... that
it's criminal.
Yeah, exactly, and they're never going to get rid of it, even though it's a dinosaur of technological stream. Like in terms of streaming, in terms of content, how people watch content, it's ancient.
And this is fairly political.
Yeah.
But Foxtel is the bastion of conservatism in Australia.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like Murdoch in general is the bastion of conservatism,
conservative media
in this country.
Yeah.
And it's not. Look, our listeners know by now that we're hippies.
Yeah.
And this
not hippies. We're left-leaning. We don't wear tie-dyes and have dreadlocks.
But we may or may not be socialists.
We don't stand for any fucking alt-right Nazi bullshit like that. Fuck those people, and fuck the quite heavily conservative right-wing governments that have taken over Australia, UK, America.
100%.
And there are a lot of alt-right hate groups and neo-Nazi groups popping up, Australia, UK, Europe. Like, it's very concerning. And
people aren't caring enough about this shit.
And it happens because of people like Murdoch and because of people like Fox News.
Now, the internet's an echo chamber, and we're not innocent of participating in our own echo chambers. Every now and again, we like to hear the opinions that we enjoy, but there's a difference when you're thinking of hate.
Yeah.
And Foxtel's one of those places where after a certain point in the evening, it stops becoming news and it becomes editorial content, and it's another big issue in itself. They call it, was it Foxtel after Sky News After Dark?
Something like that, yeah. But
anyway, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we got derailed there, but what we were saying is because Foxtel, as a way to watch, you know, all the movies and shows that we love talking about, is just, unfortunately in Australia, is sometimes the only way to access those shows like Game of Thrones, but is just the worst and most expensive option to do so. And so we're always talking about how they should get rid of it, or they should reinvent it as a purely streaming platform like Netflix. And because now Disney owns Fox, they, you know, assumedly, I mean, I don't know what the exact details of the deal are, but they assumedly could reboot Foxtel if they wanted to. Not that they would. But anyway, the ultimate point was that when we saw this, we were just laughing our asses off because Foxtel has now implemented Netflix into their packages, their cable packages.
People have been making a bigger deal out of this than I think they should.
Yeah.
Because all it is app integration, right?
Yeah. It's basically like tricking, not tricking, but it's like an added incentive for, so it's like, yeah, you get, it's like, so instead of like, oh, I'm happy with my Netflix, it's like, no, you can have Foxtel, but with Netflix included.
But they're still separate. So you're still paying a separate sub.
Exactly.
It's just allowing you to search through Netflix in your Foxtel user interface.
Yeah, but don't you get, isn't there an included subscription? It's included in the subscription fee to Foxtel?
No. There's still, maybe you might get like a month free or something. But as far as I'm aware, my mum looked into it because one of my family members is a staunch Foxtel enthusiast and refuses to get Netflix because Foxtel's better. Which, you know, she's allowed her opinion.
She's allowed to be wrong.
She's allowed to be wrong, that's it. And my mum looked into it because, you know, she might finally get my auntie to watch Stranger Things and all this other great content, which she, on her sort of opinion, will not watch. But no, as far as I'm aware,
if that's the case,
it's just app integration.
What's
and
the
just
point?
There is no point. It just allows
it's basically
you
to trick. So it is a trick.
It's basically a trick. It allows you to watch Netflix through Foxtel, but it's not Netflix in Foxtel, if that makes sense.
Well, what's the point of that? That's
you can search.
dumb.
You can go to your Foxtel menu and search for, say, Stranger Things, and it will come up. But you'll have to log into Netflix.
So, like, because I thought what was happening was that Foxtel was kind of like, if you can't beat them, join them. Like, because Foxtel tried to get rid of Netflix more than once, and you know, isn't happy with how streaming is coming along. But now all these other streaming services are coming, and, you know, Disney Plus, which we might not even get in Australia, at least not in its original format. But so, yeah, like, Foxtel's obviously not happy with Netflix, and so I just found it funny that they were integrating it in.
It's very funny.
Because
now they're admitting
if it is,
if they don't do something now...
But if it is literally just a way to search Netflix through your Foxtel app, then that's just them pretty much doing what they were doing before and just sort of pretending like they're, you know, getting on board with the...
So, yeah, it's basically just... It's starting with Netflix, but Foxtel plans to include other catch-up and streaming services into their platform.
See... That's a good idea only if there's a package deal included in the subscription.
Well, the pay TV firm, this is from an article from news.com.au.
Yeah.
It says the pay TV firm has also revealed plans to include free 6-month subscriptions to Netflix with some 12-month Foxtel packages, and unveiled a new remote control with a Netflix button that would also support voice commands. Now, yeah, sure, they get a free introductory subscription. But Netflix has been... After that, you have to pay. It's like normal.
So one of the problems that we're already starting to see, but we're going to be starting to see a lot more of very soon, is how all the streaming services that are coming out, and they're all going to be competing. And if you want to see all the shows, or at least legally want to see all the shows and movies coming out on all the streaming services, you're going to have to subscribe to 5, 10, 15 different streaming platforms, all of which will cost you maybe not a heap, but a little bit here, a little bit there.
Incrementally, it adds up.
Yeah. Now, the problem with Foxtel is for what you get,
it's not worth
it's not worth the
like
the extremely high price. But ideally, if all these competing streaming platforms are going to become a problem, to have them all in one place, great idea.
But you're still paying for your service.
But if you still have to pay individually for... So if Fox... I would be happy to pay extremely high price for Foxtel if it included all streaming services and included in the fee was the fees for all the other subscriptions to all the other
yeah, definitely. But...
Which is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Legally, it will be a nightmare just working it all out. But obviously, like we said, Foxtel is... adamant in staying
alive.
Not staying alive, but just staying as it is.
Yeah.
Staying as its broken ass piece of shit that it is.
They tried at one point to go streaming only, but I had it at one point, the Foxtel Now, where it was called, and the technology behind it was terrible.
I think that's like see, a lot of people rag on Netflix, but the best thing about Netflix is the UI and is or I should say is how it. I've never had problems with it. It's never broken down. It's never...
it got DOSed once.
But that was ages ago. I'm talking about in the last few years. No. In the last few years of using Netflix, I've never had any slowdown. I've never had any...
And when Amazon got taken down for like one day. But that took half the internet down.
But see, that's another thing is Amazon, as much as we love their original shows and as much as we talk them up on Tuesday Review.
Oh, also Amazon Cloud Services. Which half the internet is run off Amazon's cloud service.
Yeah, but I'm talking about down, in terms of Prime Video, we love some of their shows and movies or whatever.
Their UI's not great.
But their UI is terrible, and I have heaps of problems with just getting things started or watching things. So
Netflix is a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. So if Foxtel was to go fully streaming, and we'd be fully in support of that, and we want that to happen, they need to make something that will actually work.
Exactly.
Because when everyone tried to watch Game of Thrones, the whole thing shut down.
Yeah, and
Netflix has never had that problem. And when everyone watches Stranger Things 3, it's fine.
Yeah, and I think half the battle also with streaming is the internet infrastructure behind it. If you look at Netflix, you look at YouTube, these are the two shining examples of really efficient, really solid streaming technology.
Yeah.
Foxtel doesn't have that right now.
Yeah.
Having used Foxtel Now, admittedly a little while ago, it was terrible. And we don't all have the best internet in Australia.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't need a 10 megabit per second connection to watch standard definition.
That's the other thing. America, their internet might not be great, and especially because it's such a big country with such a big population. But mostly, if you have to get a streaming service in America, you can run that streaming service. There are places in Australia, not rural places, not poor places very close to where we're sitting right now. I
still haven't got the NBN, for instance.
Where it's hard to sometimes run things like Netflix.
Well,
it's crazy. We live in, again, we're going to go back to what we were talking about before. The current government, Liberal government, is destroying this country and has no clue about technology or integrating the internet infrastructure. They're fucking a bunch of old dinosaurs who know nothing.
Yeah. Not too long ago, man, I had an Optus connection and I was getting throttled, and this was 2017?
Yeah.
How am I still getting my internet throttled in 2017 with an unlimited data plan? So some of us don't have access to this fast technology all the time.
Throttling and data caps and all that should be illegal, and internet should be completely unlimited all the time.
So, right back to our point, I haven't always had a fast enough connection to be able to watch streaming services.
Yeah.
I do now, luckily, but it's keeping the populace in mind, you shouldn't really have a streaming service in Australia if you don't have the backbone to support it.
Yeah.
Technology backbone.
Exactly. But I mean,
and
it probably actually suits Foxtel to have poor internet in Australia, because then they can push the cable.
That's true. They
which
push
is
their cable.
They can say,
it won't cut out.
People like your relative who you were talking about, who was is against streaming and is just about
cable.
So anyway, boring conversation. Let's move on to something more interesting. Speaking of Netflix, which we talk about every week.
That or Jeff Bezos.
Well, yeah, I mean, Amazon is starting to...
it's climbing in our rankings a little bit.
Yeah, like we always jerk off Netflix, but Amazon is starting... And once, like I said, once Lord of the Rings comes out, it's going to be Bezos all day, every day.
I love you, Jeff, but save the planet, man.
Save the planet, then make nerdy shit.
That's it.
And you can do both because you have enough money. And not just Bezos, all those rich cunts.
Yeah, and pay your workers.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Anyway. Boring conversation. Let's move on to the Irishman teaser trailer.
Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this teaser trailer, but you had some issues with it.
So, in context, last week we talked about all the trailers that were coming out. And we were so excited about them all and we were so hyped. And we got to the end of the show and we were like, the Irishman, there's no trailer yet, but... there's an image, and we always talk about how excited we are. They fucking
listen to our show.
Yeah, and like the day after, maybe was like
it dropped.
They dropped the trailer, and I was like, oh my god, now we have to talk about this trailer as well. So we've talked about a lot on this show, and we even talked about it back on the old show when they announced like the movie.
It's been a spectre.
Yeah, so like. We always talk about how much we're excited for it and how much we love Scorsese and how great it's going to be and whatever. And realistically, this is one of my and most people's most hyped movies of the last decade.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're going to see it. We're going to love it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, like that. I'm really excited for it. But I'm trying not to overhype it because I don't want to watch it and it just be kind of meh. Because the more excited I get, the more hyped up I get about how great it's going to be. And if it doesn't live up to those high expectations, it's just going to be really devastating. Because if this movie's bad, it's going to be really, 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 really disappointing.
I don't think it's going to be bad. I think from what I saw, it ticked all my boxes as a Scorsese gangster film. That's not to say it's good. Yeah. That's just to say the trailer's well made.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is like last week I said, you won't get any real excitement. Like, I've been excited, like I said, for a long, long time, but you don't get that actual gut reaction from how excited you are until you see the trailer, until you see it in movement, until you hear the sound. And watching the trailer, I didn't have that real gut excitement. I was just like, yeah, it's a trailer. So I think this is a movie I'm trying not to hype myself up too much. Because if it doesn't live up to even if it's really good, if it doesn't live up to my high expectations, it's going to be devastating.
But we're also in a situation where this is a movie we should be seeing on the big screen.
It could
be a different experience. We could be sitting at home, and it could be a really good movie, but we're losing something.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be too harsh on this movie if it's not the greatest movie I've ever seen at home. Like,
no, but if a movie's good, it's good anyway.
It's good, but there's a spectacle. Yeah, there's something special.
Obviously, it would be great to see it on the big screen, and that's disappointing that we probably won't get to see it here. But like,
I hope if there's any movie that Netflix is going to push everywhere around the world, like real mainstream, old school, everywhere in the world theater rollout, it needs to be this movie.
Well, I mean, in the US, it's getting some festival runs and I think limited theatrical runs, but here they won't get anything. But I mean, like we've talked about on the show many times and on the old show, we're just glad it got made because Scorsese has been trying to get this movie made for years and years and years, and Netflix was the only place who gave him the huge budget and the creative freedom. And that's why we always love jerking off Netflix and talking about how great it is. Because even though they make a lot of shit, at the end of the day, they're most of the times the ones who will just be like, here's the money, do what you want. And, most studios don't do that anymore. They haven't done that for a very, very long time. So, Yeah, but in terms of the actual teaser trailer, it's a trailer. Like, you know, you see De Niro, you see Al Pacino, you see Pesci. Was Harvey Keitel in the trailer?
No.
I don't think I saw him.
No, I don't think I saw Harvey.
Yeah. But
Ray Romano's in this as well, yeah.
Yeah. Anna Paquin's in it as well.
I think it's going to be a good film.
Yeah.
I hope it's 3.5 hours.
Well, we talked about this once. I said I hope it's 5 hours long, but not a mini series. Like it's a 5-hour movie. Like you have to sit there and watch the whole thing. But yeah, like the trailer's nothing special. It's just a few scenes. Obviously it's a Scorsese gangster movie. It's a period movie. There's bits set in the 70s or whatever. But because it's got the de-aging technology, which
there's a little bit of rubber.
About, assumedly, it's going to be set in different periods of time, which they don't really explore in the trailer. It's only a teaser trailer, but the whole like thing of the teaser is that it's like cut throughout the trailer is where it's like De Niro's on the phone, and like it's like behind him, and you don't see his face because you got the phone up to his face, and the camera's slowly tilting around until like at the end of the trailer. You see his face is like de-aged. And
this is what they're really, I guess, in that way, they're really trying to push the de-aging. Look how good it is.
I feel like they shouldn't have done that reveal. They should have just shown it. You know, like if it's not the greatest effect of all time, don't tease it. Just show it. Just go, look, this is how it looks. Now, the movie doesn't come out for presumably quite some time, quite a few months at least. So maybe it's only the teaser trailer. Maybe it's not completely finished. I don't know. But it's not, we've been talking about how this movie has to get the best de-aging technology.
And it's being done by what? Industrial Light and Magic or something?
I can't remember. But seeing it in the trailer, it looked fine. Like it wasn't great. It's a bit weird, a bit flubbery. And
I think it's a little weird.
Yeah, and this ties back to how much are they going to use it and like how important is it going to be in the movie? Are they going to, I'm assumedly they're going to do it to more than just De Niro. And so I'm just like a bit concerned, and this is why I'm trying not to get hyped about it.
Look, I think I can overlook it depending how bad it is. Well, if it's Woody from Toy Story, we have a problem.
Yeah, so I think when we were talking about this before, I was like, the Marvel movies have such great de-aging. Like, I was like, they have to get at least to that level. And in the trailer, I don't think it's at that level.
No. From what we've seen, it could still improve. It might not be the final product yet.
Yeah. Also, what's funny is like we talk about de-aging De Niro and that, but it's like he's so old and like he still looks old de-aged. Like he's not playing a very young man. He's still playing someone quite middle-aged.
It's because from memory, the more reference material you have, the better, right?
Assumedly, yeah.
So, there'd be a shitload of reference material on all these actors.
Oh, heaps.
So, look, you would hope that they would do
whatever they did to Kurt Russell. They need to do it here.
Yeah,
like
that was
wow.
tight. Yeah,
or Michael Douglas even. So we'll see how. Like, I don't know.
Did you see the trailer? The new Gemini Man trailer. Movie doesn't look good, but the de-aging looks decent.
I saw the first trailer and it looks terrible.
It looks. I'm not going to go see it, but the de-aging looks all right.
It looks weird.
You reckon?
I mean, it looks good, but it's still, you can tell like it's very kind of weird.
Look, so the tech's out there. Let's hope they can improve it a little bit. But
at the end of the day, even if The Irishman's de-aging technology isn't great, as long as the movie is still good,
you can overlook
some of it. But
I liked some of the I like the soundtrack for the trailer.
Well, it's Scorsese,
and I like some of the editing. I guess some of the direction in the trailer was pretty cool. I like the scene with the car wash.
Yeah,
and it's just the license plate.
Yeah,
and like the sort of the bottom of the car. That was really cool.
I mean, the movie, no doubt, is going to look and sound great.
And there's a scene where they're pushing taxis or something into the water. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm holding out hope.
Yeah,
but I'd love to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not going to happen.
It's a shame, but it won't happen in Australia. But yeah, like fingers crossed. I mean, I'm going to see it. I'm going to love it, but I'm just trying not to get.
We need to pull our money. We need to set up a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe, and we need to negotiate with Netflix to let us open a Netflix theater.
Fuck off. They have enough money. They can do it themselves. Get us to pay for it.
It's not going to happen any other way.
We just talked about all these rich cunts not doing anything for the world, the environment.
We'll show you originals.
Yeah. And then they'll sue us into the ground. But yeah, I think that's enough for tonight.
Yep. Bit of a relaxed show.
Yeah, kind of a whatever show, but
it's all right.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Next week's going to be a spicy meatball.
Yeah, so next week we always change plans, so we won't say definitively, but at this stage we're planning to do the whole show on the Amazon series The Boys, which
we have strong opinions about.
Yeah, The Boys. So that's going to be a good episode, I think. So Callum will be back for that one.
You should have seen. I've watched The Boys twice.
Well, now that we're going to talk about next week, because it's already been like 2 weeks since I watched it, I'm going to probably have to rewatch it.
And it's worth a rewatch.
Yeah, it's so good. So Callum will be back next because he didn't see Hobbs and Shaw, so he'll hopefully be back next week and we can talk about The Boys for the whole thing. And I think that'll be a much better episode because that's us in our element.
That's full nerd shit.
Nerdy shit, comic book, superhero shit. And Amazon and Bezos and Amazon shit. So
and Bezos.
Yeah. We talk about Bezos, but it's like there's got to be like a head of programming at Amazon who's actually
he's sitting
at
home listening to the show and he's like, these guys they just jerk like Jeff off.
That's the guy we should be praising. But I know there was a thing I saw, like an article where it was like Bezos did say like I want you to just buy up any cool shit, like any nerdy shit. Like he actually did say that. But like there has to be like a head of programming or whatever who's actually the guy that we're that we should be praising. So good on that.
We'll do some research and get back to you next week.
Guy or gal, good on you. But yeah, hopefully next week, we'll talk all about The Boys. And if you haven't seen The Boys and listened to this, watch The Boys.
You have a week to watch it. It's 8 episodes, and it's 8 really hours. Good. It is so good.
Really, really good. That's it. Thanks for listening. Like and share the Tuesday Review Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter at Tuesday Review AU. Follow me on Instagram at Channel Drifter. I post every time I watch a movie, and I get to talk about some movies that we don't get to talk about here on the show. I haven't been watching a lot of movies lately. I've been binging a lot of video games and TV shows, but I still post every once in a while. You can find our previous episodes of the Tuesday Review on your favorite podcasting app. You can find Alan and Jake's show, Sunrise Arcade, if you like video games. Check that out. And you can find Matty J's show, Car Talk, TORQUE. You can download those podcasts as well. Just Google those. And make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Tuesday Review on iTunes. Thank you all again, and adios, cousins.